I work mostly with just a naked razor blade because I can fit it into my hand easily and I can control it. I work in my professional life with antique prints. I reproduce them and sell them to retailers. I ended up with all these scraps that were just too cool to throw away, so that's what I started doing collage with. Now I buy things specifically to do collage with. So I go to flea markets, antique stores, once in a while an estate sale or something like that. Sometimes I treasure little pieces of paper so much that I have to make sure it goes into the perfect thing, it's in the perfect place. I've spent $50 on a piece of paper to use for collage, and it's still in my studio. I'm savoring it for the perfect thing. Or I might spend $300 on a book that I'm going to rip up and cut apart with my little razor blade and create collages out of. Once in a while I will add some color by painting on pages and cutting out shapes and using them in the collages. I use a lot of photographs, a lot of handwritten things, a lot of text out of books. I cut up words and use the individual letters. I cut up illustrations and different shapes and create things out of them. But it's all got this antique aesthetic to it. And then when you get into it, there's something to discover. It might be a sense of humor, or it might be something very serious. I take photos of people that are standing straight, and I cut them out and cut them in half and then rearrange them along a horizontal plane. And it's sort of like a reflection, a cityscape with a reflection. That's why they're called peoplescapes. They're graphically very interesting, though. They can be 8 inches long or 40 inches long. I try to work in series because it's easier to get the momentum of an idea going and run with it for a while, and then it eventually ebbs out and you have to come up with something else. Once I got into it, I realized this is really a good thing because you just grow with one idea and see where it takes you. So now I tend to work in series, and they run their course, and then I play around with things and sit and get frustrated and struggle and try and figure out what's going to be the next thing. Eventually something will take hold and a new series comes out of that, and I run with it and the process continues. The most recent thing I'm working on, I'm calling spirals just because they're in a spiral shape. After playing with it for a while, I decided that I really liked the oval shape and the spiralness of it, and the whole methodical process of just, it's very time consuming, but it's very comforting after a day of work to just sit for a couple of hours in the evening and cut all these little pieces and put them down. They're graphically very interesting, and they draw people in to look at them. I think I'm an old soul, and that's probably why I'm attracted to all of the antique papers and old things, that aesthetic. But I also think that I use all of the antique papers in a contemporary way. I like the spiral collages. It's antique images from the 1870s, and they're beautiful, very intricately done. It has, the presentation is very contemporary. I like that juxtaposition of the two, using old papers and coming up with a presentation that is very clean and contemporary looking.